Imagine that you just shared your deepest secret with your significant other, but instead, it turns out that you shared it with your parents. That's what we're going to discuss today in Threat Talks The Deep Dive, and today's subject is Signalgate. Let's get on to it.
Welcome to Threat Talks. Let's delve deep into the dynamic world of cybersecurity.
Today, Thomas Manolis is with me. He's the security officer at AMS-IX. So Thomas, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah, so before we really dive into what went wrong, can you give us a brief overview of what actually happened and what Signalgate is?
Right. Signalgate is actually the biggest security breach in terms of leakage that happened during 2025. It all started from March 11th to March 15th, where a number of US government members, officials from security agencies, secretaries, and military personnel have established a chat in Signal, and they have exchanged confidential information that leaked to an unauthorized person, let's say, because of a combination of a very bad decision at first place, along with a human error, with a human mistake.
Yeah, and because they were using Signal, it's called Signalgate.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so let's dive into it directly then. So you said it was a combination of two things. What was the first error they made?
The first error was the decision to start using a consumer-grade application for sharing classified, confidential information. So this should have never happened because they have overcome their own rules in the sense that they have their own internal system for secure communications, but for unknown reasons, they decided to skip this and use something else.
Yeah, I can imagine Signal is seen as a really secure application, so they probably said, okay, this is secure.
Exactly, and this is one of the root causes. Signal is a victim of its own success, in the sense that, yes, it's a very good application. Yes, it's a secure application that takes privacy in mind. However, it's not intended to be used for classified information, and it's not intended to be used, in a real secure environment because of the lack of verification. It's very important when you are using such applications to be able to verify who is participating at the communication stream.
Yeah, and so they probably have their own communication system with all these extra measures in place, so like verification, etc. Maybe it was just easier to go to Signal because their own applications were too hard to use.
Possibly, but again, as we all know, it's always a balance between usability and security.
Mm-hmm.
And at this case, because we are talking about secret military plans that could have costed human lives, then it's way more preferable to adhere to the rules and use the applications you have to use and avoid social media or applications like Signal, WhatsApp, and so on. So
the first mistake was to go to Signal as an application to use for communication, especially on this classified content. What was the second mistake that was made?
The second mistake was that there was an erroneous addition of a phone number to a contact. And this was, what triggered the leak. In fact, one of the officials, the one who has initially initiated the chat, has added a journalist from The Atlantic magazine. And luckily, the journalist was diligent enough to reveal what has happened, and the information did not leak any further, but the damage was done in the sense that it was already known that, what weapons are they going to use, when are they going to use them, how are they going to use them, and so on. So this is really important to be avoided.
Yeah, so the person that added or invited another person to the group, what basically went wrong here, he added a contact on his phone, but the wrong number was attached to it.
Yes, exactly.
That sounds like a really human mistake that both you and I also can make.
Yeah.
Well, how many contacts do you have in your phone?
More than 300.
And are you sure they are all still correct and
Not
up to date?
really.
That's probably the same for me. So the second mistake, I think, is really relatable, and anyone could have that problem or made that mistake.
Yeah, in fact, this is why we have this talk, because it's a very common problem that most of businesses and organizations are struggling with in daily basis, including our organization as well.
I can imagine at AMS-IX you will also have at least agreements on internal communication,
Right.
maybe specific systems, specific controls in place.
Yes, we do.
How do you cope with the fact that people can also just install Signal or WhatsApp or any other social media or chat platform?
We have invested at education. So what we try to do is that we try to educate people about the necessity to honor the confidentiality, the integrity, and the availability of the information. And given the fact that the confidentiality is a very important and critical factor for us, we tend to, to ask people to double think before they share any kind of information with externals or even with internals sometimes. So the information classification is something that must be honored at any price.
Yeah, but it's really a soft control. So you inform people, you create awareness, you educate them.
Yeah.
Do you also have some more technical controls in place?
I do have, let's say, the classic technical, controls in place, like DLP, like managing the applications, the allowed applications through MDMs and the like. But even if this is the case and we have some controls in place, I think that the human factor is the most critical one, and this is where we try to focus more. We try to educate people and to make them understand why they should not take such initiatives, but they should have adhered to the rules when we are talking about confidential information.
Okay, and how do you react if people start using Signal, WhatsApp, or maybe even contact you so a colleague contact you on WhatsApp or maybe Signal?
It has happened. I mean, that the colleagues have contacted me through social media or through some, messaging applications, and I'm responding that thank you very much. I'll contact you through the allowed company communication means.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I think it's the same for us. So people can always use their personal device or maybe even a work device and then install WhatsApp or Signal and then use it to communicate. You should always be aware what kind of data you're exchanging.
Yeah.
I think this is also related to shadow IT, because in the end it's just a SaaS application.
It is because somebody has decided that it's fine to overcome all those rules that are in place and use his own means for communication, and this is pure shadow IT, combined with bring your own device or danger or however you like call it. And these are the results. The results are a huge leak that could have costed human lives, and this is.
So it's fair to say you cannot really prevent these kinds of things from happening if people don't adhere to the rules or at least the policy you created.
Definitely, in the sense that there's no control that is 100% accurate, and the policies are just some controls. So obviously, we leverage everything that we can, the soft control of a policy, the hard control of a technical measure in place where it will, it will not allow you to leak confidential information or classified information.
But that will only work if traffic is going over your controls or it's a company-owned device.
Absolutely.
Do you have any controls in place to audit this, or is it just educating and then
we are performing regular, many audits within the year. We have a regular cycle of audits, internal audits, external audits, risk assessments, and other information security related activities that we hope and we are working in this direction that those audits indeed will reveal such problems if they exist at the organization. So yes, the audits, I know that they are hard and sometimes they are unwelcome especially from the IT personnel, but it's the necessary evil if you need to have a safe environment and secure in terms of security to do something more, to do something better.
Yeah. So before we go to the conclusion, I want to emphasize a bit on it was not a Signal problem here.
No. And in fact, Signal, gained some more traction after the leak, let's say, because it was not Signal's fault. It was not Signal's mistake. Signal is a very robust application. And people thought that if it is good to be used by US officials, then it's also good for me.
Yeah.
And this is what has actually happened. But it's not about the application itself. It's about the governance around the application. This is the main problem that we want to communicate to the Threat Talks audience and to advise organizations and businesses to take serious measures in this direction in order to avoid accidental leaks like this one.
But it's fair to say, I think, if not the wrong person was added to the group, then maybe the Signal group would still exist today until a mistake was made.
Yes, but it always takes just one mistake in order to...
That's true, and I think it's a very nice bridge to our conclusion.
Yes.
So the first one is it was really a bad decision to went off from using the internal communications that they have in place and went to Signal, or it could have been any other app, where there is, it's still a secure application, but it is not intended to use for this classified content. Then the second one, I think, is really a human mistake. It's just, your phone number is up to date, maybe attached to the wrong number, and then you, by accident, added the wrong person to the group.
Yep.
And I think the last, and we said it just before, but it was not the problem of Signal. It was just those two things combined that led to Signalgate.
So our recommendation to the Threat Talks audience is to try to keep, up to the extent possible, their personal lives and devices separated from, the professional ones.
Yeah, and it's fair to say that the only measure you can really take is education.
Well, it's not the only one, but it's the main one, I would say. And it's, more than 50% of the whole job. The education is really important. And it's also the hardest part because you need to deal with the human psychology. And this is sometimes difficult in terms of security.
Yeah, sometimes it's just easy to get your own personal app and then just send the message that you want to communicate. Okay, that brings us to the end of this episode. So check if your company is using any other communication mechanism, so like WhatsApp or Signal, that should not be used. Educate your people why there is a reason that there is a policy in place and why data should not be exchanged by these applications. And with that, I would like to thank you, and I hope to see you next time. Please like and subscribe if you like what you saw. That helps us to spread the word further. So, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Threat Talks, a podcast by Onto It Cybersecurity and AMS-IX. Did you like what you heard? Do you want to learn more? Follow Threat Talks to stay up to date on the topic of cybersecurity.